It's a brand new day. I'm so glad you're here. My name is Jill, and together we're walking on Survival Road here on the Road Report as I believe the population gets older. Okay, that's true, whether I believe it or not. The world gets colder, and I think we need to get bolder. And today we're really focusing again on this idea of grand solar minimum, ice age, climate change, getting older, and what that really means for us as a community. So before we jump to the other side, we're going to take a deep breath. 4 in, hold for 4, exhale. Don't blink. Be right back. So I had heard some really interesting things about how colder climate changes people. And there's a couple things. One, there's that guy, and I've forgotten his name, so I couldn't find him, where he has shown that by submerging himself into freezing temperatures, it actually stimulates the immune system. So there's a whole science around cold and our immune system. But what's really fascinating, and again, these are things I've heard over the course of the years, filed, don't have links for them. But as people moved north into the colder climates, our values and our communities changed, whereas we had to develop long-term strategic thinking because food couldn't be grown over winter. That things like, if you think about at the equator, you just walk outside and eat because everything stays pretty much the same. It requires less strategy. The further north or south you go, the more strategy needs to be involved in how you live because you have to develop critical thinking to solve problems if you want to survive. And with that, structures to the community changed, where traditional tribalism was really focused more around family and the inner tribe, blood, right over right or wrong. As people experience, these extreme climate, colder weather, they had to be able to trust each other because if you steal all the food, everybody dies. So the shift went from family and bloodlines to character driven. And I just think that's so interesting. And a lot of that has to do with your cultural and your ethnic background in terms of where you come from, may explain some of the ways you think about things in your own personal life. And I can, without ever knowing that or even thinking about it, family does not rank up there with me as much as honesty, integrity, trust, reliability, responsibility. The people in my family who display those temperaments and those characteristics, I stay close to. The people who have been more questionable, I don't have as much of a connection with. And the same thing is with friends. I just thought that was fascinating. But one of the things that we really need to think about as we get older also is these values like trust, responsibility, dependability. The older you get, the easier it is to become a victim, and you are vulnerable. And if you don't have family watching out for you, you are extremely vulnerable. Now, I'd like to say that all the world was a wonderful place and that nobody will ever do anything bad. But the thing I like about smaller communities is everybody knows everybody, so that's less likely to happen. You're more likely to know who the people are that don't share your values. But if you don't have those people in place, you're very vulnerable as you bring in caretakers, you go to places to be taken care of. As people come into your home to maybe clean or do things for you, that you really have to trust who those people are. So I'm just planting that seed right now. I just thought that was so interesting about the strategic thinking and the character value driven relationship versus just being related. And it says a lot about this whole craziness that's sort of exploded around racism, where I think most thinking people don't care what you look like. They care about who you are in the inside, which brings me to the very beginning of the intro about who we need to be. I tell you, that's the focus. If you have any kind of long-term objective overall thinking, the world is always drastically changing. There's all kinds of crazy things going on. Nobody escapes drama and tragedy at some point in their life. Everybody needs help at some point in their life. The glue that sticks all of that together are the people who are strong, they're reliable, they have integrity, I can't do this one, they're honest, and you trust them. Those are the values, not the religion, not the culture, not the ethnicity. The values, that is what connects us when it hits the fan. I've done a lot of crisis work in my previous life as a social worker, and I'm going to tell you, nobody cares if you're a boy or a girl. Nobody cares what you look like. What they care about is, do you know what you're talking about? Can you help? Can you save my life? That's when it matters, and that's who you are on the inside. Got nothing to do with who you are on the outside. Just a little more food for thought as we keep moving this journey forward. I'm just very excited about who we can be as these changes come forward. That's what we're talking about on the Road Report. So we're going to take one more deep breath before we go, as I hope you will rise with the sun in your eyes, love in your heart, feet strongly on the ground, as together we walk on Survival Road, one day at a time. Live free, die wild, my friend. I'll see you next time.
You might feel like